Josh Dobbs has had a crazy season so far, being on 3 total teams, throwing 16 passes in the preseason for the Browns, starting 8 games for the Cardinals, and then to now winning a game in the final seconds for the Vikings. Josh Dobbs began his 2023 campaign where he began his 2022 campaign, and that's in Cleveland, Ohio, with the Cleveland Browns. He had an outstanding preseason with the Browns in 2022, but 2023 he only threw 16 passes, completing 8 of them for 77 yards and 1 interception. That 1 interception was apparently enough for Andrew Berry to be sold on Dorian Thompson-Robinson being the backup, so he traded him to Arizona for a 5th-round pick. Looking back on this for the Browns' perspective, they probably should have stuck with Josh Dobbs since Deshaun Watson had a shoulder injury and they had to move on to P.J. Walker, who began his season with the Bears. So in a way, you could say Dorian Thompson-Robinson's great preseason changed the whole course of how the 2023 NFL season would play out. So back to Josh Dobbs. He gets to Arizona and he immediately makes a cultural impact in social media with the fan base, with the whole team store not having his jersey debacle. You know, he really did make a good PR move there. I'll give him points for that one. But the Arizona Cardinals were a team that nobody expected to be competing in games. They thought that they'd be losing out, tanking for Caleb Williams. But he comes in week 1 against the Washington Commanders and they put up a great fight. People are saying that, wow, the Commanders are going to lose to the Cardinals? The worst team in football? In the end, they did lose the game 20-16. He completed 21 of his 30 passes, 132 yards, no touchdowns, and a 78.8 passer rating. So on to week 2 against the Giants. They take a big lead going into halftime, but they can't pull it out. They lose 31-28. Josh Dobbs completes 21 of his 31 passes for 228 yards and a touchdown while running for 41 yards and a rushing touchdown. Now on to the big win versus Dallas. They get the win 28-16 in shocking fashion. Josh Dobbs throws 189 yards, a touchdown pass, runs for 55 yards as well, 120 passer rating. Absolute great win for the Cardinals. And looking at this in hindsight, maybe the management didn't really like that, and maybe they're trying to lose, looking at what's going on now with the Cardinals after their previous game against the Browns. We'll get into that in a little bit. Moving on to the next week against San Francisco, they lose 35-16. They put up a great fight. Josh Dobbs throws for his season-high passing yards, 265 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, took 1 sack, and ran for 48 yards. Big game for Josh Dobbs, competing once again with a very, very good opponent. Now for the rest of his tenure in Arizona, they went winless once again. 4 touchdowns, 5 picks, not very good, but once again, they still stayed competitive. They were staying in these games. Now here's where it gets a little weird. Head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, randomly benches Josh Dobbs before the trade deadline. Now I'm not going to blame Jonathan Gannon himself, as likely it was up to the Cardinals GM, Monty Ossenfort. He traded him away for a bag of chips, basically a late round pick swap, and put Clayton Tune into the fire against one of the best defenses in football in Cleveland. Now obviously that brings us to today, week 9 in the NFL. The Cardinals take on the Browns. And obviously Clayton Tune completed 55% of his passes, threw for only 58 yards, threw 2 picks, and took 7 sacks. It sure looked like the Cardinals are trying to lose by throwing this rookie 5th-round quarterback against one of the best defenses in football. Now on to the Minnesota Vikings and Josh Dobbs. Jaren Hall goes down early in the game with a concussion, throwing Josh Dobbs into the fire after having only 2 practices with the Vikings. He absolutely dominated in his 1 game with the Vikings. 200 total yards and 3 touchdowns, including this game-winning drive right here. The escapability out of Josh Dobbs, running for about 30-yard runs, just an insane escapability you're not going to get from just a normal trade deadline mid-passer that stays in the pocket and takes sacks. When you have Josh Dobbs on your team, you're going to be clutch. 3rd down and 4. He's only got like 5 red zone plays in his mind, and it's his first time repping this play, and he throws it on the dot for a touchdown. The Vikings moved to 5-4 on the season, and it sure looks like Josh Dobbs took the starting role, and he's going to run away with it. and now he's in the playoff conversation. This isn't the Cardinals anymore. You're on a 5-4 team that's in the playoffs as of now. Josh Dobbs is one heck of a guy, and no wonder he's an aerospace engineer. He can learn plays in a matter of seconds. He just learned the Vikings playbook, and now he's got an epic comeback win on his belt. The Cardinals and Browns didn't deserve him. He deserves to be on a team like the Vikings that's going to be competing in the NFC for a chance to make the playoffs. Thank you for watching this video. It was really fun to make. I loved Josh Dobbs. If you look back in the YouTube shorts of this channel, I've been high on him this entire time. He's one of the best trucking quarterbacks in the NFL. If you get that reference, you're a true Toss the Mic fan. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm Johnny Raider, and make sure to catch the next one. We got plenty more coming up with CJ Stroud balling out. I have to make a video on that. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day on purpose.